vola angwela o veteranu ako itabua ako do talitaina na barongo na Bula FM nambando na sere
Bula alang gonoa ilutoka do talita ka na Bula FM berarti nambando na sere
ni Bula binaka nanreke ngosa Bula FM nga ena kasi
nalango samundu atiwe na Bula FM nambando na sere nusuri
ni Bula binaka nalango Jerry yang melambasa do barongo na Bula FM nambando
Bula FM nambando na sere.
In the news tonight, TC Sarai to leave Fiji group. Man reported missing in Wunindawa. And over 1,900 people in evacuation centers.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Ateva Lendua.
Tropical Cyclone Sarai is not going to make a loop and head back for the Fiji group. Director Meteorological Service, Misaele Funaki, has told FBC News earlier models indicated that TC Sarai could have turned back towards Fiji. However, Funaki has confirmed that the updated information shows TC Sarai continuing to track in a southeasterly direction before it dissipates. He says at 1 p.m., the Category 2 system was located about 70 kilometers southwest of Kandavu, or about 160 kilometers southwest of Suva. Funaki says TC Sarai is moving at about 16 kilometers per hour. According to Funaki, the tropical cyclone is expected to track close to Matuku in the Lau group early tomorrow morning and be out of the Fiji water by Tuesday at the latest. Our West reporter Felipe Naikaso joins us live now from Nandi. Felipe, how can we expect the situation to develop going forward?
Yes, thanks for that, Ateva. I'm here at the Fiji Meteorological Services office in Nandi, and I'm also here with the director, Mr. Misaele Funaki, who will elaborate more on what's happening with Tropical Cyclone Sarai. So if you can just explain what's happening right now and whereabouts is TC Sarai.
Well, Tropical Cyclone Sarai is still a Category 2 system. It's located around 140 kilometers south-southwest of Kandavu and is moving towards the southeast at 16 kilometers per hour. Observation that have been received on the ground from our officers in Bunisia have stated that they are experiencing winds of 70 kilometers per hour with a momentary gust that extending to 100 kilometers per hour. And at the same time as well, observation from our buoy in Kandavu also indicate that there are waves of as high as 3 to 4 meters that are currently being experienced in Kandavu right now as we speak.
So what can people expect in the next 24 to 48 hours in these areas?
Thank you. As we speak, there's been a storm force warning that has been enforced for Kandavu, Moala, Matuku and Totoya. And also on the track that it's taking, it is moving in a general southeastward direction. So in stating this, it's heading towards the southern part of Lau. So the people towards the southern part of Lau, probably from Lakemba extending all the way down to Onelau, should be experiencing the winds associated with Tropical Cyclone Sarai over the next 12 to 24 hours as it moves closer to them.
Is it safe to say that the larger parts of the Fiji group are out of danger?
Well, if to say that it's out of danger is not really a true statement, for the simple reason that winds are still being experienced. And also at the same time as well, there are major parts of Fiji that are still flooded right now. Some big catchments are flooded, and also the rain that we experienced over the last 24 hours are slowly making its way down to the major rivers. So to say that we are totally out of danger is not a right statement as it is right now, but eventually we will get there as Tropical Cyclone Sarai moves further away.
Which parts of the country are expected to continue to feel these adverse weather conditions from overnight into tomorrow morning?
Well, given that it's moving towards the southeastward and moving towards the Lau group, the primary area of concern for us right now is Kandavu and also the Lau group. But also at the same time, we've got to realize that as the cyclone moves towards the southeast, the southerly winds will be experienced along the Coral Coast and the areas extending to Suva. So there will be a change in the wind direction. So people along the Coral Coast and even in the greater part of Suva as well should realize that there's a change in the wind direction and they are not totally out of the woods right now.
So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Naka Felipe. The National Disaster Management Office is disappointed with parents whose children were found swimming in flooded waters today. Despite several pleas, some disregarded the warnings, and that led to 2 reports of missing persons at the height of TC Sarai. Koroi Tandalala reports Acting Commissioner of Police Rusiate Tunravu warns that people who continue to disregard warnings and advisories will be taken to task for disobedience of lawful order.
A search and rescue operation is underway for a man missing in Vunidawa, Naita, Siri, after he was swept away by strong currents while trying to cross a flooded river. The National Disaster Management Office continues to stress the importance of following advisories and warnings.
In cases as such, we ask parents to be vigilant in terms of controlling your children, not to go out, as well as refrain from walking out in open areas when there is strong winds, because it's possible debris flying that can incur injury. So for general public, we ask you to help us by adhering to warnings and staying indoors when the need arises.
Acting Commissioner of Police Rusiate Tundravu says such reckless behavior puts the lives of his officers at risk conducting search and rescue operations.
These are some of the things that is of great concern to us. We will not allow deployment of our personnel during the height of cyclone because people themselves are irresponsible. When we have issued a warning prior to the cyclone through the relevant authorities, yet people saw it fit for themselves during the cyclone height for them to do those such irresponsible actions.
The National Disaster Management Office is working with police and military personnel to ensure Fijians are safe during this period, and police will continue with its festive season operation through to New Year. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
Let's join Koroi Tandalala now, who has been closely liaising with the Disaster Management Office. Koroi, what else is the NDMO saying?
The National Disaster Management Office is currently working closely with the Ministry of Health to ensure everyone residing in evacuation centers around the country receive the necessary measles immunization shots if they haven't already. Police officers are also present in all 48 activated evacuation centers to ensure public safety. Now, with the heavy rain and flood alerts still in force for most of the Fiji group, Kandavu and the Southern Lao group, NDMO Director Vasiti Soko is urging those who may and will be moving to evacuation centers later on to take enough food supplies with them. In our earlier engagement with NDMO, they've confirmed that there are no major record of major damages so far. But as of this point, NDMO is working to ensure the restoration of all essential services around the country. The public are advised to be cautious until Sarai exits the group. Atiada.
Thank you, Koroi. Prime Minister Borenge Bainimarama has assured Fijians affected by TC Sarai that help is on the way. In a post to his social media page, Bainimarama confirms all teams are fully briefed. Disaster and health officials are already on the ground in affected communities, and 48 evacuation centers are up and running around the country. He adds the authorities are still accounting for the total damage from TC Sarai and will provide briefs as information is confirmed. The Prime Minister has again urged all Fijians to stay away from floodwaters, move to higher ground if possible, and to keep an eye on young children. Bainimarama says all Fijians must remain vigilant until the danger has completely passed. 1,970 people are still taking shelter at 48 evacuation centers, which were opened around the country overnight. National Management Office Director Vasiti Soko says activated and non-activated centers will remain on standby as threats of flooding remains. The NDMO continues to assist people living in low-lying areas as strong surges started to enter some villages along the coastal areas in the Western Division. There are 30 evacuation centers open in the Western Division, 15 in the Central Division, 2 in the Eastern Division, and 1 in the Northern Division.
Until and unless the Met Office cancels all flood warnings and all cyclone or strong wind warnings, we will then take our cue from there.
Up ahead, police monitors flood-prone areas, and Matawalu Village takes proactive measures. Details after the break.
Hi, Bula. I'm Selai from Nandi. I love Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Hi, my name is Sotiama here in Ba. We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, I'm Miri. I'm from Lotoka and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits. Hi, my name is Fiona from Tavua, and I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Hi, I'm Ini from Raki. I love Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
The Sawani Serrer Road has been under flood waters since early this morning, blocking off access for hundreds. When FBC News visited the area, people could be seen wading and swimming through the flood waters to get across. Edwin Nund reports.
Children swimming in floodwaters for fun and adults crossing to get to either side near Nangali village.
It's a little bit rain, plenty of rain and wind this morning. When I left home, there was plenty of rain.
A number of vehicles approached the crossing while we were there. Some needed to get across, others were just on a sightseeing trip. Nava, however, needed to get food for his family.
To buy some shopping, grocery from Sawani.
Okay, you've got family at home?
Yeah, family.
Peter Lotto stood at the edge of the floodwaters this morning. He just finished a night shift as a security guard and wanted to get home to his family.
See the flood here. I want to cross now. Too much water.
Luckily, he didn't have to swim as a punt arrived soon after, ferrying Lotto across. As for those playing in floodwaters, the police special response unit arrived and chased people out. They warned anyone who dared to enter the floodwaters, they would be arrested. Officers have been stationed at flood-prone areas all around the Central Division to keep an eye on the public.
Until such time as when floodwaters recede, the only way to get across this stretch of road is by boat. We've already seen one group of people arrive on their way to Nosori town, and one person has returned home via a canoe after his night shift. Now, anyone thinking of crossing these floodwaters on foot or trying to swim across will have a big surprise in store, because just a few minutes ago we had the police special response unit arrive at the scene, and they pulled people back out of the water and warned them to stay out. There will be police officers based at this location full-time until floodwaters have receded to ensure that nobody tries to cross the floodwaters. This is based on a directive issued by the senior hierarchy of the Fiji Police Force. Edwin Nund, FBC News.
Precautionary measures were taken by residents of Matawalu village and surrounding areas in Lautoka as they moved to designated evacuation centers yesterday. These villagers have learnt their lessons from Tropical Cyclone Winston, which struck in 2016 and created havoc. The people were vigilant this time around and moved to safety during daylight. Felipe Naikaso has more.
In an effort to ensure their loved ones are safe and their belongings are not damaged, these villagers took proactive steps and moved to this evacuation center.
We have learned from our lesson from TC Winston as we were not prepared for it. Now, any warning regarding the weather, we make sure that we are fully prepared for it.
Currently, 43 people are taking shelter at the Matawalu Pentecostal Church.
Most of the houses in the village are not cyclone-proof, which is why families were moved to the evacuation center as soon as possible from yesterday.
People taking shelter at these evacuation centers that we have visited have told us that they will remain at these centers until the all clear is given for them to return to their homes. These are just precautionary measures taken to ensure that no one is caught off guard.
It was better we prepared for the worst rather than putting us in our families at risk and reacting late.
Homes around these areas did not sustain any serious damage despite strong winds and heavy rain from TC Sarai, which has been affecting the Western Division from last night. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
Many businesses in the capital city opened for business early this morning. Market operations also continued on a minimum scale, while the city council workers were busy clearing the debris on the streets. Sanya Limboila files this report.
While the bus services were minimal, some people still found ways to come to the city.
I was working last night here in Suva as a security officer, and this morning I came back to check if everything is fine at the office. I'm very happy that everything is okay and the weather is starting to clear out.
I just came down to the market this morning to sell some of my stuffs, and now that the weather is beginning to clear up, I'm going back home to prepare for our Sunday lunch tomorrow.
Today I want to go to West, but there is no bus transported, so I have to go back to my brother's place.
In Lami, the town council workers were in action from early morning, removing fallen trees and branches within its boundary, including Nabua Central Business District. Business was also normal in the town.
Our business has started becoming normal. We are health professionals, so yesterday to today we have been open. We are here to serve the people in Lami.
It's a normal day here at Lami town as people came out to shop for their goodies, heading into tomorrow, the last Sunday of the year. Sainia Nimboila, FBC News.
Meanwhile, it was business as usual also in the Sugar City today. Many of the shops open for normal business, and the people of Lotoka were seen out and about carrying out their normal Saturday routine. The weather was also fine during most parts of the day. Business owner Raj Kumar says he decided to open his shop today in anticipation that people will come to town to do some shopping. Some retailers took heed of the warning and remained closed. Up ahead, squatter settlers take precaution. And Kings and Queens Road open to all traffic. Details after the break.
Hi, I'm Shamiza. And I'm Salma. We're from Nandi and we love Mirchi FM because it's hot.
My name is Rajnita Lata and I'm from Vatulaloba. और हम सब मिर्ची FM सुनता है because it's hot.
Hi, my name is Vinita. I'm from Lambasa. I love listening to Mirchi FM. It's number one.
Safety has always been paramount for residents of Korova settlement outside of Suva, who always take proactive measures when the threat of a natural disaster strikes. This has been the practice for everyone living in this area for the past 4 decades as they get affected by sea swelling. Apenisa Wangairundovu reports.
Families from this settlement are still taking shelter at the evacuation shelter at Indrimba Primary School and only return briefly to check their properties.
In the past, we have to find a place to go to, but now we are well advised and assisted. But we have to come back home today because the weather was looking all fine.
74-year-old Sakyusa Vikuyaki says people also move their personal belongings while going to the evacuation center.
We'll go back to the center if the threat is still in place, and as always, we make sure we are ready to move at any time.
As most of these community members remain at Indrimba Primary School, Turangani Korowanga Rindoko Sambu says they will follow official advisory from the authorities.
Whenever there is a cyclone warning, we have to leave everything behind and move to safety. We have no problem with that, as safety has always been our concern.
In Waileva Tuanga, Chopekoroi said it gets flooded after heavy rain all the time, and precaution was important.
We are used to disasters. Look at my house. It's been tied up from long ago. I think we are used to it, but there is still fear that people can get hurt. What's important is stocking up on groceries and maybe batteries.
These people rely on solar power and say they also keep enough water stored in case of emergency. Apenisa Wangarandovu, FBC News.
Apenisa Wangarandovu joins us live now. Apenisa, what's the general consensus about how Fijians reacted to the threat of TC Sarai?
Thank you, Atiada. Just reflecting on how people have reacted to the now passing tropical cyclone Sarai. Well, we believe that many Fijians took heed of the warning from the weather office in Nandi, and that is by preparing early and stocking up their ration. And also a lot of Fijians were moving to the evacuation centers earlier than expected. Earlier on Tuesday, before Christmas Day, a lot of Fijians went out to do their shopping, and this was a positive that we must continue into the future. Another great thing about the preparedness that people did during this cyclone is that the authorities, responsible authorities rather, were also giving out effective information at timely timing, and that is also something that we must be thankful for. And just another thing is that many Fijians manage to get their information from reliable source of information rather, and this is something that we must continue into the future. Atiada.
Naka Vanessa. Families in Marata village, Wailoku, took precautions last night by moving into evacuation center. Village headman Chosateki Wainivalu confirmed about 15 families, mostly women and children, made their way to the community hall for safety. Wainivalu says Marata village is vulnerable to flash flooding, falling debris and landslides as it lies at the bottom of a valley.
The village is situated in some sort of a basin, and we covered there is a hills around us. So the worst scenario that we are looking at, the landslide, and that will be a big disaster for us. So the precautions that we have to take is to bring them into one area so that we can account for them.
The Kings and Queens Road are open to all traffic, but those traveling have been urged to be cautious. This as traffic signals in the Central and Western divisions are not operational due to power outage. The Fiji Roads Authority says a temporary traffic management has been put in place. The FRA is advising Fijians living in low-lying areas not to make travel plans unless absolutely necessary. This as several roads and crossings remain flooded. FRA is in its updates has confirmed that people need to prioritize their safety as they know themselves about their locality and flooding risks. Meanwhile, Jetty Road in Kandavu is closed due to a landslide. Recapping the main stories, TC Sarai to leave Fiji group, man reported missing in Wunindawa, and over 1,900 people in evacuation centers. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. To our poll question segment, this week we're asking, is Lobo a must-have during festive season? Visit our FBC website to answer. You can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email, fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News. Or you can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply #FBC News. And that is your FBC News for tonight. Stay safe. From the team and I, good night.
Vola ngwela o veteranu hoi tabua agi do talitaina na barongo na Bula FM na bandu na sere Bula alang gonoa ilutoka do talita na Bula FM berarti na bandu na sere ni Bula binaka nan rege ngosa Bula FM nga na kasi nalang gosa mundu achiwe na Bula FM na bandu na sere nusuri ni Bula binaka nalang go Jerry yang melambasa do barongo na Bula FM Bula FM, number 2